Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Remember, it's 100% viewer funded. Please hit the links in the description box. It is greatly appreciated. I just left my son's soccer game where he scored 2 goals. They won 10-0. The passing was great. They were setting each other up. They were spreading out. I'm open, communicating. It's a beautiful thing. But what's not beautiful? Who's not beautiful? Gavin Bang Your Wife Newsom. And if you don't know why I call him that, it's because he banged his best friend's wife. So when Gavin comes around, make sure you are standing between him and your woman. So, man, the commie hits just keep on coming. So he signed into law on Thursday an 11% excise tax on gun and ammunition manufacturers and vendors, which eventually means what? Us, the consumer. For school safety, something about mental health, and something about something gun safety or like mass shooting training or something like that. I'll put a link in the description box. You can hear it from the serpent's mouth yourself. But the way he's talking, listen in this video, and it's like 5 or 6 minutes long, I know, but I'll give you the highlights if you can't stomach it. The way he was talking about it, the language that he uses. Now, Gavin Newsom, is he Satan in a suit? Yes, but you have to respect his game. You have to respect your enemy. He's good at what he does. He knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it. He knows who to say it to. He knows who to say it in front of. So the way he's talking is like something he was talking about gun violence in California. And he said, that's been decided. That's not up for debate. But it is up for debate. Technically, anything's up for debate. But he said, that's been decided. The language that he uses, like anything to the contrary of what I'm saying, no, we've already had the powers that be. We've already had the intellectuals decide that that's not so. So it's not, we're not even going to talk about it. It's closed. The way he says things, the language that he uses. He was talking about this Judge Benitez, which is a federal judge who just threw out the high capacity magazine ruling in California that says you can't have high capacity magazines. But again, he on one hand, he's very good at what he does, but on the other hand, sometimes he exposes how little he knows. Because he said, I don't like to call people out by name, but I'm the son of a judge, and judges aren't exempt from criticism or critique because they are public servants. But he said Judge Benitez just threw out California's high capacity magazine clip law. Now, if you know anything about guns, you don't call it a clip. That's some movie shit. Like if you're using World War II, World War I era weapons, those were called clips because they were actually on a clip, the bullets. But if you're talking anything modern, it's a magazine. That's what it's called. But he knows so little about guns, yet he's making these rulings that have crucial effects, critical effects. You're infringing on people's rights, and he's only infringing on the law-abiding gun owner. Of course, they're only going to tell you about the stories where somebody did something bad with guns, because if it bleeds, it leads. Sometimes So of course they're going to tell you about those, but guns help and save people millions of times a year. Sometimes just the threat of having a gun, or the presenting your weapon, brandishing the weapon, showing it, racking around into the chamber. Sometimes just people knowing you have one will deter them from doing anything to you or stealing from you. Damaging your property, taking your property, hurting you, killing you, a loved one, somebody you're trying to protect. Maybe you don't even know them. But guns do so much more good than bad because there are so many more good, law-abiding gun owners versus the bad ones. Now, do law-abiding gun owners do bad shit, stupid shit with their guns? Of course. But it pales in comparison to the number of people who don't. The number of law-abiding citizens who don't do dumb, stupid shit with their weapons. But let's not focus on the overwhelming majority. And these taxes that are going to trickle down to the average citizen. And also in this, and he signed a few of them, but the other one, it also limited where you can carry a gun. If you have a CCW, concealed carry permit, it limits where you can carry. Okay, no places of worship, no sporting events, no federal buildings, no federal property. So it basically says you can have a gun, but you can't carry it anywhere, just like the state of New York. Just like that dynamic dumbass duo, Adams and Hochul in the state of New York. Yeah, you can get a CCW, and what we've been beaten back, we've been defeated constitutionally. So we'll make it easier for you to get a CCW, but you can't carry it anywhere. That's basically what Gavin Newsom did. And it also adds stipulations to getting a CCW, character witnesses, background checks, and things like that. So it's not Newsom, but I was listening to the audio, and one guy said, I think it was the author of the bill, if you have domestic violence charges, you shouldn't have a gun. If you're online threatening people, you shouldn't have a gun. He's naming all these scenarios in which they deem those people don't deserve guns. Now, on the surface, yes, domestic violence, that conjures up visions of some man beating the shit out of his woman, but that's not always the case. I'm not even going to say the usual shit somebody would say right there. Well, I'm not even going to say that. Obviously, it's implied. But it's not always the case. It's not always what they want you to think when they say things like that. Incendiary words and phrases that they use. And I said in the last video when I was talking about that $20 minimum wage bullshit, also brought to you by California. He's talking to women. He's talking to the female voter. He's talking to the dumb housewife who stays home and watches The View. That's who he's talking to. The ones who are going to, I will vote for a Democrat no matter what. That's who he's talking to, those legions of clowns. You need not have evidence and facts and logic when you're targeting that group. All you need is emotion and repetition. That's what they run off of. That's their fuel. That's where they get their sustenance. Their political sustenance comes from repetition and emotion. It's been decided. It's not up for debate. We're keeping California safe. They know what to say and who to say it to. So they're going to hear that shit and think, well, of course I'll sign this bill. But when you pry that thing open, when you give that law a pap smear and you pry that thing open and you get to looking inside, there's a bunch of other shit that's attached to that. It probably has something to do with prison sentencing, certain funding going places, but they only tell you the top part, the upper crust. I don't want to get down into the nitty gritty, the guts of this law. Just tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I want to hear and put me to sleep, Daddy Newsom. It's not going to keep California safer because people who are hell-bent on murder will commit murder. You should be on our side, you snake. You should be on our side, you personal assistant to Satan. You should be arming the general public, the law-abiding citizens. You should make it easy for us to protect ourselves against the bad people, against the gangbangers and the drug-addled psychos. You should be helping us. You're arming them. Well, you're not even arming them. You're taking away our weapons. They're going to get their weapons regardless. They don't give a shit about your laws, Gavin. Come here. They don't care about the laws because they're outlaws. They're criminals. Anybody out there, if Gavin Newsom is anywhere near you, yell in his ear, Criminals don't care about laws. I'll see you in the comments. You know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. Hit that Teespring link so you can get some merch. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm